This BMW M3 competition is my current daily driver, but today it is going back to BMW and it's being replaced with this, the new M5 CS. So, oh, bye. Oh, sorry, I'm going to miss you. This thing's amazing. But the question is it really worth £140,000? It's almost twice the price of this, which starts at £75,000. Well, do you know what? In this video, we're going to find out, because I'm going to drift them, I'm going to launch them, and I'm going to drive them and compare their interiors, exteriors, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching CarWow. Let's start this video by talking about these cars' engines. So the M3 has a 3-litre twin-turbo straight-six with 510 horsepower and 650 newton meters of torque. Let's hear what it sounds like. So come on, start it up. Now rev it, rev it. Oh, sounds really hard-edged from here. Now let's hear it from the exhaust. Not bad, not bad. Let's shut that off. The M5. This has a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8, but for the CS version, it's tuned to 635 horsepower and 750 newton meters of torque. It sounds like this. Rev it up. Oh, but what about exhaust noise? Let's hear it from the back. Right, that's enough of that. I want you to decide which you prefer the sound of. I put a pinned comment below. I want you to vote which sounds the best, the M5 CS or the M3 competition. Let's start doing the most important BMW test of all, and that's seeing how easy the car is to slide around. Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's a good thing about the M3. Oh yeah, it's good fun, this. Right, that's enough of that. Let's find out what the M5's like. I've jumped into the M5 CS, so I've got a bunch more torque, but I've also got a bunch more weight and standard fit all-wheel drive. So let's give this a go. But of course, the four-wheel drive system is configurable, so I can go into my menus now and put myself into two-wheel drive mode. Should make things a little bit easier. Oh my god, I mean, this is just an absolute beast to just slide around. You can literally slide it at will. It's so good. I don't want to kill the tyres because I've got some more filming to do. Right, now let's compare these cars' designs. I'm going to annoy everybody now because I'm going to say this. I prefer the look of the front of the M3. I prefer this grille. I just think it's more aggressive. Sorry. It's really grown on me. And this one is enhanced because it's got the carbon fibre upgrade packs. You get carbon bits here and at the back. I also prefer the rear of the M3 as well, but from every other angle I do prefer this M5 CS, and it's got some special bits like vents in the bonnet, and this bonnet is actually carbon fibre. Wow. And you get these bronze accents around the grille. You also get bronze alloy wheels, you get bronzy exhaust. It's really nice, and bronzy M accents down the side. Plus there's plenty of carbon on it as well. It's a really nice looking thing, this. Now let's see what these cars are like to drive on a twisty road, because that's where M cars are supposed to deliver, well, especially M3s and on tracks. I'm going to start off with the driving position, because you can get this seat so low that you feel like you're in a racing car, or if you're a short ass, you can actually jack it up so you can see over the bonnet. Now, this being the rear wheel drive model, you have to be a bit careful on slippery surfaces because it can start to struggle to put its power down, but traction is still pretty good, and especially in the dry. If you've got an issue with traction though, you're just going to need the four-wheel drive model, aren't you? And then it really does hook up, and I think for most people, most of the time, that is the one to go for, because after all, you can drive it in rear-wheel drive mode if you dare. The steering on this car is precise and it's quick to react. Sometimes when it's wet you get a bit of push, but you just have to wait for a second, and then the front axle bites, and it's all predictable. In fact, this car is way more predictable than its predecessor, which was a bit spiky. It's nice and steady, when it loses traction at the rear end, and you can control it on the throttle really well. And the engine, oh yeah, it's got plenty of performance. You do have to rev it a bit though. It's not got massive low downshift. You have to be going over 3,000 RPM to really feel the power, and then it goes. Yeah, this thing handles well. It's fun to drive. It's also good as a daily as well, really. Is it one of the very best cars from BMW's M division though? Probably not, but it's definitely a good one. It's a car with a broad breadth of ability. I'll miss it. So funny jumping out of that M3 and into this, because the M3 is supposed to be the more focused, the more like track ready car. The M5 is about being an absolute weapon on the autobahn. But it's a different story with the CS. BMW's engineers have created something that is just totally wonderful. This is without doubt one of the finest M cars in history to drive. Just the sensations it gives you through every control, the steering, through the seat, the way it just steers, the way it grips. It's just absolutely amazing. It's one of those occasions where small changes add up to an absolute load of driving goodness. I wish I could be more eloquent to describe just how totally brilliant this car is. The way you just feel immersed in the whole driving experience like you haven't done in any other M car for such a long time. It's so, so good. And the funniest thing about it, this absolutely astonishing engine is the least remarkable part. Delivers so much punch, and it's got decent noise with this exhaust, but it's the chassis that absolutely stands out on this car. It really does. It gives you so much confidence. It makes you like think, really, is it like almost 2 tons? This guy can't possibly be. But it is. BMW, they've created something special with this. It's going to go down in history for being one of the very best from the M division. Das ist gut, ja. I don't know what's like brilliant in German. If you're German, let me know. But yeah. Here on the inside, the M3 feels like a lovely car. So the quality is good, the design is nice. You can choose different colours. This light colour just lifts the cabin so very well. The only problem is that it marks quite easy on the seats. I've had to clean them a few times because they get stained by jeans. Speaking of the seats, you've got to pay to upgrade to these seats because they are amazing. They're a little bit hard to get in and out of, but once you're in, they are super comfortable and the driving position is brilliant. There's also nice bits of carbon fibre about the place, even on the gear selector paddles. It's very sporty. What's really surprising about the M3 though is just how much space there is in the back. I mean, look at that knee room. These seats do help because they're thinner than the standard seats. Headroom's good as well. It's all very spacious. It's supposed to be the smaller of the two cars, but it doesn't feel particularly smaller from where I'm sitting. Tell you the truth, the M5 does seem a bit more spacious, like loads of knee room, a bit more headroom than the M3. But it's not quite as practical, this car, reason being that you have these sport seats in the rear. They are lovely to sit in, but you can only carry 2 people in the back because all you have in the middle is this tray for, I guess, your mobile phone. I do love these seats though. They're like the ones in the front, but in the back. Lucky rear passengers. Here in the front there is more CS-ness. For instance, the Alcantara steering wheel just makes it feel like a racing car without you even having to drive it. You've got CS there on the dash, bespoke trim, red stitching, these lovely seats which are the same as the M3 but you get them as standard, and obviously you've got M5 CS on the sills. Meanwhile, quality, it's just a little bit better than in the M3, but I have to say one of my favourite things about this car is the attention to detail. For instance, on the dials, the car is clearly the CS because look, bronzy wheels. Or is that gold? Gold, bronze, bronze, gold, I don't know. Let's finish off with the practicality with the boot capacities. So the M3's boot is a generous 480 litres. The M5's though, 530. More spacious, more useful. So I better just transfer some of the things I've got left in this M3's boot, make sure I don't forget them, seeing as I'm taking the M5 home. We've got a BMW umbrella, that's good. And also my cowboy hat. This rear wheel drive M3 is supposed to do 0-60 in 3.9 seconds, but I'm going to be a bit harsh on it here because I'm going to launch it with cold tyres. Here we go, launch control. It's going to struggle to put the power down. Yeah, it is. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, keep going straight, keep going straight. 4.96, it was so struggling. Let's do the quarter mile. What's it going to do, quarter mile? 12.71. Interestingly, with warm tyres, I've actually launched this thing and it's done a quarter mile in 11.6 seconds. Much better than that, but There we go. That's the problem with rear-wheel drive. Unless your tyres are warm, you struggle. Let's do a brake test anyway. Here we go. 70 miles an hour, full emergency stop, and we have got 144 feet. It's all right, let's jump into the M5 and see what that can do. Let's do it. Launch control, going. Brutal launch. 0 to 60, 2.88. What's the quarter mile? Go on. 10.85, that is quick. That is quick. Woohoo, this thing's nuts. Right, brake test then, from 70, here we go. Carbon ceramics, as standard. What we got? 131 feet. Whoa, it's an improvement that is over the M3. Now, I know a lot of you will be going, wow, you can get a four-wheel drive M3, and yes you can, and that'll launch better, but this thing, believe me, regardless, it's quicker. It's so quick. And the stopping power is incredible with those carbon ceramics. Yes, I know, you're also now going, carbon ceramics don't improve your braking performance for single brake stops. Yes, they're better on a track, they don't fade, but it's all part of the package. I suppose you do have less inertia in your wheels because they're lighter, so they do help you brake. Didn't think about that, did you? Sorry, is that annoying? No, shut up now. So then, what's my final verdict? Is the M5 CS really worth twice as much as an M3 competition? Well, objectively, no. But then, when you're buying cars such as this, you're not always being objective. You're sometimes being subjective. And subjectively, this M5 CS is an amazing machine, and it will go down in history as one of the very best M cars, whereas this M3 probably won't. And that's all I have to say on this matter. Great car, but amazing car. And that's why it wins this test and my heart. I'm glad you're coming home with me. We're going to have such fun together. Weird.